I first met Terje last week at a conference which was looking at live capture of fish, which it'll become obvious why Terje was presenting there, and I was very impressed with what they're proposing, and in fact what they're building with this. So it's a substantial investment in a new vessel, which hopefully Terje will be able to show us now. Yes, perfect. Well done, sir.
Okay, thank you.
No, thank you.
A little bit. Okay, then I can start, and I can start by saying that thank you very much for having us here. I can definitely say that the future is already here. This is a project that was started 10 years ago, before I started in the company. The vessel that I'm going to show you has been in the making for the last 2 years, and it's on technical audit and classification now, and it is in production from 1st of January. So the company, Bluewild, we are building this vessel called Eco5, which is then short for eco-friendly fishing vessel. The 5 main goals for the company as such is, which we will measure ourselves against, this is like the internal medicine, if you like, is a lower environmental footprint, a higher seafood quality through live catch and storage prior to processing, which is then important to what we're talking about here today. It's increased safety for crew because fishing is one of the most dangerous occupations in the world. There is better economy throughout the value chain from catch to fork, and under this label there is a multitude of different projects we are doing in order to improve efficiency, get rid of waste. We know there's a lot of waste in the final sales moment in the shops, and also and greater social impact. But this is like and this is not the topic for today. So let's go into it. When we are looking at stress factors in catch and handling, I know since this is about welfare, then I will be concentrating on this, but I could talk in 2 hours on how we are going to create new value chain downstream and so on, but I won't bother you with that. And green is then colored with, that is where we believe that we will either have a solution or that we are working on something that will become a very good solution. Hypoxia or lack of oxygen, the fish, which I will show you then, is now out of the water. So we don't take it out of the water and displace it. Crowding, yes, this is trawling, so there will be a certain amount of crowding, and during the last part of the haul, obviously. But we are then looking at, we will minimize that stress because we are processing everything we are taking on board. So, and just as a small comment to the speech done earlier today, why is not good quality paid better price? And that is mainly because of a dysfunctional setup, or not dysfunctional, but it's the way the value chain has been set up, at least in Norway, where actually you fish the fish and then you hand it over to the one that is going to sell it and or processing it. So the loss of bad quality is mainly not at the fisherman's side, unless there is an oversupply of fish in the value chain. If there's an undersupply, the buyer don't dare to say that it's bad quality, so he's buying bad quality. And then bad quality is priced into the product, and that is stopping you from getting a premium. But anyway, we are going to produce this ourselves, so we don't want bad quality. Injuries, the fish is not leaving the water and it is not pumped, I will show you. Temperature shock, it's the same water temperature all the time, but of course if it is exceptional, like warm summer, and you take it up from 150 meters at 3 degrees and the water temperature on the top is 17, yes, then there is a temperature shock. So that I put it in green, but that depends on where we're fishing. Osmosis regulatory distress, no. There is no change in salinity, so we can take that the homeostasis is maintained. Light exposure, yes, if you take it from the far at the bottom and taking up to the surface, there will be more light. So we cannot stop that. But the exposure to light before it goes into what you will see in the hole in the vessel is relatively short, but it's there. Barotrauma, yes, if you take it up from deep, there can be and will be for some species at least. It depends on how you are getting rid of the pressure. But we are not pumping the fish at any one time, so we don't add this extra stress in, for example, as other people have been into earlier on. Immersion, no, we don't take the fish out to the water. Fatigue, yes, the fish is swimming in front of the trawl, but if we then lower the time we are fishing, and this sensor globe, I put that in because I didn't know about that, to be honest. So, but that is definitely now on our list, because what we want is a fish that we are producing with maximum sugar level in the cells. That means minimum of lactic acid, and that delays the rigor mortis, and that improves the shelf life. When we get this fish on board, we are handling it and we are slaughtering it. And I'm coming back to that. Hypoxia, no, we are adding oxygen. That means that we have 3 tanks where the fish is stored alive when it comes on board. These 3 tanks is around 90 cubic meters in total in water. But we have pumping system that in total can add 3,500 cubic meters per hour. That means that it will take us 2 minutes to replace 90 cubic meters. So that means that if we are, for example, fishing saithe in North Sea at 17 degrees Celsius surface temperature, then the fish is more stressed and it uses more oxygen, and you need to change the water very often or add oxygen, if you like. So that's why we have designed this to be, everything can be changed in 2 minutes. Crowding, no, when the fish comes in, it is stored in actually tanks where it has room enough to swim around. Then injuries, there is no crushing or pumping, so there should be a very low level of injuries. Temperature shock, same as above. We have the same temperature, but if it comes from 4 degrees and it is 17 degrees, then we also need to compensate this with changing the water very frequently. Immersion, no, we are not taking it up of the water before it goes into stunning. Displacement is not something that we regard as a big problem because it's such a short time before it is killed. What we will do when we get into fishing, which will be from January, is that we will establish measurement or the ways of measuring what we are saying that we are delivering, which is then higher welfare, and then as a result of that, a higher quality. We need to work on that and work with and seek information from the relevant institutions. And what I've heard here from some of the speeches, we have a very good starting point. What we have been looking at so far is pH level in meat and blood, mortality prior to slaughter, which is definitely then a sign of stress, lactic acid in the muscle, injuries, that can be the swimming bladder that explodes on the cod, meat structure, internal bleeding, and so on. And when we get into it, then we will probably find other, but the thing is that we need to find practices that work on board so that we can document it and send it on to the customers as a documentation. And we know, and this is the reason why we are investing a lot of it, optimal quality and shelf life is closely linked to the treatment and stress level of the fish when alive. In this vessel, maximum time from alive to minus 35 degrees centigrade in the fillets is 2 hours maximum. and -35 because we also want to stop the enzymatic reaction to as a big degree as possible. The design of the vessel, which I will show you now, is also based on a 3-year study on 2 of the trawlers that our owner owned before, and that has to do with how you when you want to save energy, that means CO2 emission or greenhouse gas emissions. You need to study how you are using your motors and your propellers. And what this is showing, and it's I won't go into deep into it, but the maximum speed you need is only around 10% of the time, steaming to 10 to 12 knots. So what we want and what has been built is double capacity motors and propellers that can move a lot of water slower. We don't want like something that moves little water quicker, because that costs more money. Now it costs more fuel and money and emissions. So the goal in emission, this is not the topic for today, but I can just mention it shortly, is on average, and we are going to fish whitefish and prawns. So this is a vessel that can do both. On whitefish, we can lower the emission against the standard trawler with 40%, which is amazing. On shrimp, 15%. And reason why shrimp is lower is that when we do shrimp, we fish with 4 trawls, quadruple, 375 meters width. And then we need to use both the engines and both propellers. When we fish with 3 trawls for whitefish, we switch off the one engine and only run on one diesel electric engine. Then the system for catching, which is then revolutionary. There is no system like this in existence, so this will be then the new something that will start from January. So here there are 3. You can see 3 trawls outside. Then the end of the trawls are hauled on to the deck. Then there is a device coming up, as you can see, holding on to the trawl bags or whatever it's called. You can see on top there, that's called the fork. And then this grips and then you loosen the coupling there. Perhaps I'm using wrong English terms here, but and then you lower it. So you separate it and you lower it, and you see the 3 holes at the bottom there. That's below sea level, of course. And you lower it down there and connect it. Then the fork lifts it up, and it leaves the fish and the shrimps. We can also do live shrimps into a water-filled catch reception. This is 3 different tanks, each 30 cubic meters. This is the illustration. And then we just look at the 1.5 minute illustration.
Trawling has always presented some challenges. During the hauling of the trawl, fish can sustain crush injuries, abrasions and bloodstains. In addition, when dumped straight into dry reception enclosures, the fish dies quickly and the blood will be captured in the muscle tissue. The Eco 5 solution from Bluewild is an ambitious venture that maintains high catch quality. Eco 5 is a new method for managing catches of fish and prawns in trawl nets. The trawl fork is raised and stops the trawl net from moving athwart ships to avoid crushing hazards for the crew. The catch remains in the net in the water. The trawl ring is guided into a groove in the trawl fork. Only when the rear gate is lowered, there will be a need for manual labour. The crew can safely release the front part of the trawl from the bag and connect the splitting strap from the cod end to the wire that runs over the A-frame. The trawl fork is lowered down the trawl slip, forcing the trawl ring towards it. The A-frame will then lift the cod end to guide the catch forward towards the intake, enabling an even catch flow directly into the water-filled receiving tank. The valve is opened and the catch brought in. With such gentle handling of the catch, there is no risk to the catch being crushed when dragged over the stern ramp or suffering fall injuries. The catch is kept alive, circulating in water until the processing takes place using well boat technology, which provides higher product quality. When the cod end is emptied, the valve is closed and the trawl fork returns up the trawl slip. With low forces in the trawl, it is safe for the crew to move to the trawl fork to reattach the trawl net and release the trawl ring. The solution will reduce stress and mortality rates, resulting in less blood in the flesh and, therefore, a product of higher quality. It will also be easier to handle catch volume variations and maintain a steady flow into the factory. As a result, the vessel's capacity will be better utilized and there will be less strain on the crew. The Eco 5 trawler won the Innovation Award at the North Fishing Exhibition in 2022 and was named Ship of the Year at the North Shipping Exhibition in 2023.
So, when coming into the reception area, we have something called the sliding bulkhead. That was, I just used to Google Translate, skiveskott in Norwegian. And we use 2-bar overpressure. So it's not pumped. It's just we don't need more than 2 bars in order for the fish to glide into the processing area where it is starting the process. And we have exit on top and on bottom, so that, for example, the cod, if the swimming bladder hasn't exploded, then you get something called floaters, and they are still alive. So we want to take them out first so that they don't suffer and they don't suffocate. And then you have the fish that perhaps have died. We hope that that will be a minimum. That can be taken out at the bottom. And then anything in between is swimming and hopefully then, if not enjoying it, then they have less stress. So you take out the floaters and the dead to start with, and that happens immediately. And that, of course, improves the final quality of the product, but also is very well in line with the welfare. Then the fish comes in, and this is not a detail. This has been updated later on, but you can see the flow. It comes in, the fish has been stunned using salmon technology delivered by Seaflow, and it is bled. We are going to install the automatic bleeding puncture, but at the moment, to begin with, we will use pistols developed for it, so that we don't use knives, because that has to do with the safety of the crew. Then it goes into first a Rotex for bleeding, and then a Rotex for taking the temperature down to 0 degrees. The whole vessel is cooled. The cooling medium is CO2. Then it goes into deheading and first the gutting and then deheading. And then it goes through the filleting line straight to the IQF freezer and into the packing area. 2 lines plus 1 redfish line, which is I've not put up a red thing for. And then it comes out of the packing area, which it keeps at minus 20 degrees, into labeling and then down to storage. The freezer is minus 47 degrees air temperature, so that the product comes out at minus 35. Then we have block freezing for heads and frames and skin and taking care of all of the fish, which we are then selling in other markets. Then there is a prawn line where we can produce either raw for cooked and peeled or cooked shallon. We are not peeling on board this vessel. It's only raw material for land-based cooked and peeled or shallon cooked through the same IQF freezer into the same large units, 400 kilos. And then we have evaluated the shrimps are coming in alive. We can pass it over the stunner, but at the moment it has been planned on taking it in pumping for the shrimp over to this line. But there is no problem for us if we see it works to run that, and if it has an effect from welfare and quality, we can run it across the stunner and take it from there. So that means that the two value chains on board, if you like, if the fish comes in, live storage, electrical stunning, bleeding, cooling, grading, pre-rigor, filleting, portioning is optional. We will do full fillets to start with, but that has to do with the value chains we are creating, but that's a different story. Minus 35 degrees, packed in jumbo boxes for easy further processing, secondary processing down the line closer to the market. The shrimps are coming in, live storage. We have not said put in electrical stunning. That might be possible. Grading and cooking optional. So the future is here, and the product will start to be available from next February. We expect a little bit hassle to start with because the vessel is packed with new technology, a lot more than what you have seen here. And in the meantime, we in the marketing department is establishing the value chains and the production hubs around Europe, because this is not like a spot product. This has to be a planned production. And alongside with this, we are building new ERP solutions so that the customers that are on contract can follow actually, if we want, every box that is produced against the order as it has been labeled on board 2 hours after the fish was alive. New way of thinking, we think it is the future. In this term, welfare is at least thought of and is not everything solved, but we will definitely go down that route because welfare means quality and we are selling quality.
Well, that was a fantastic presentation, Terje. And as you said, you know, the future is here now. I mean, one thing that struck me as really remarkable in that the planning for this started 10 years ago. So that was really ahead of the curve. So, well done. I really look forward to seeing the vessel. So when can we get aboard?
Yeah, in January.
Okay.
Okay. And where will her home port be?
The main port, the home port is Ålesund on the west coast, where we also have the main storage area for the or storage point for the products before we ship them out.
Well, I know after this I'll be speaking with Bjorn and others from Nofima, and I think we'll be very keen to come aboard and see what benefits the new design is providing, and yeah, tests.
You're most welcome.
Well, thank you very much, Terje. I look forward to seeing it. So good luck with the launch, and yeah, I'll certainly be in touch in the future about coming to have a visit. So, Michelle, you.